Hi friends, we are back with chapter 5 of Alvin Ho. In the last chapter, Alvin had just started school and we met some of his classmates, and today we'll hear even more about his classmates, especially a character named Flea. All right, chapter 5, The Trouble with the S Word. Not being able to talk in school is a terrible problem. But having a girl desk buddy is even worse. It's the kiss of death. At recess, I heard, Alvin and Flea sitting in a tree, Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes Alvin with the baby carriage. Ugh! It really fried my rice. But the real problem with having a girl desk buddy is that she will follow you home no matter how hard you try to ditch her. And it is so hard to ditch her when the bus stops at the end of your driveway and nearly everyone gets off and your house is right there and the whole gang can see that a girl is going up your driveway. Hi, Mrs. Ho, called Flea as soon as we reached the top. Hello, Sophie, said my mom, smiling and using Flea's real name. It's very nice to see you. Mouths dropped open at the bottom of the driveway. Pinky, Jules, Sam, Nia, Eli, Scooter, and Hobson, the whole gang, stood speechless. It's nice to see you too, said Flea, blinking her one good eye at my mom. If there is anything good about Flea, it is this. She wears an eye patch over one eye like a pirate. Also, one of her legs is longer than the other, like a peg leg, which is also marvelous. I'm Alvin's desk buddy again this year. That's wonderful, said my mom, smiling even more and holding the door open. Alvin is very lucky. Yep, said Flea, he's very lucky. Would you like to come in for afternoon tea and rice crackers? I narrowed my eyes at Flea, which meant she had better say no and go away. And my mom narrowed her eyes at me, which meant I had better behave like a gentleman or I had something coming. I'd love to, said Flea, and she stepped right inside my house and then sat right down at my place in the kitchen across from Annabelle. Worse, Lucy came and gave her a kiss that she usually gives me. Remember Lucy? She's the dog. It's a terrible problem not being able to talk at school, Flea said right off. So having the right desk buddy makes a real difference. My mom nodded, and she had that look on her face that said she thought Flea was a darling girl. It's a big responsibility, said Flea, so I'm even more prepared this year than last. You have a PDK? Asked Annabelle. No, said Flea, but I made this. She reached into her backpack and pulled out a book. The Book of Alvin, it said on the cover. I wrote the Book of Alvin, said Flea. Then Flea proudly opened her book. Page 1. Alvin can talk with his eyes. Flea read loud and clear. Page 2. There was a drawing of two eyes, my two eyes. These eyes mean he's thinking, I read. Flea nodded. She turned the page. Page 3. There was a drawing of two more of my eyes. These eyes mean he's okay, read Flea. Page 4, a pair of anxious eyes. These eyes mean he has to go pee, exclaimed Annabelle without reading. Hey, I said. Page 5 was a big pair of round eyes. And those eyes means he has a bingo, read Flea. What a great book, said my mom, with that smile on her face that said she thought Flea was a very clever girl. And I had better be a gentleman or else. You are very observant, my mom added. Flea beamed. Thank you, she said. People think Alvin's uncommunicative, but he's really not. Alvin should be proud to have a friend like you, said my mom. She was so pleased that she brought out a special treat. 2,000-year-old dragon's beard candy in a box and offered it to Flea first. As if that weren't enough, Flea asked for chopsticks. Then she slurped her tea like she really meant it and pinched a dragon's beard candy between her chopsticks and popped it right into her mouth. She even chewed with her mouth closed the whole time. I saw dragon's beard candy on a cooking show once, said Flea, dabbing her lips with a napkin. It's made of 8,000 strands of sugar wrapped around nuts and coconut and sesame seeds. My mom'd bean. I'm taking aggression for girls, Flea went on. It's a combination of kickboxing and karate, and it's supposed to make me stronger. And I got a goldfish this summer. His name is Botswan. He watches action movies and swims around only during commercials. She smiled and reached for another piece of dragon's beard. I could hardly stand it. I think it's a stupid book, I blurted. And you're a stupid girl. Flea gasped. She clasped the book of Alvin to her chest. Her mouth fell open and some beard strands fell out. Alvin ho, said my mom. You apologize right now. I hung my head. I had used the S word. I crossed my chopsticks this way, then I crossed my chopsticks that way. My mom was giving me that look, which meant I had better apologize or she would make dragon's beard out of me. Yactoseconds turned to zeptoseconds, turned to attoseconds, turned into the blink of an eye, then into a heartbeat. Then my life crawled before my eyes. Sorry, I finally peeped. Tears filled Flea's eye. It was not a good sign. I had a terrible feeling that a gentleman would never make a girl cry, even a girl with only one eye. Flea slipped the book of Alvin into her backpack and without a word headed out the door. I was so relieved and happy to see her go, I felt like dancing. If I had danced, the new look on my mom's face said she would have broken my legs. So I dashed out after Flea. I had a feeling it was the gentleman thing to do, but I didn't really know. I couldn't remember. Hey, I huffed when I caught up with her, but Flea did not stop. She moves rather fast for someone who could only see half of everything and walks on uneven legs. Stop, I said. Flea stopped. She blinked her eye. She crossed her arms. I breathed in and I breathed out. I did not feel so good. I was on the sidewalk in bright daylight, gulp, with a girl. Okay, I said. Okay, what? Said Flea. Okay, I'm going to mean it this time, I said. Flea waited. I waited. A car rolled by. I leaned over to see what was in the gutter. Nothing. Then I looked up to see if there might be any giant meteorites heading for Flea. None. So finally I blurted, I'm sorry that it's a weird book and that you're a weird girl. Pow! I think it was an uppercut. I'd seen it on a Saturday afternoon boxing with my popo. An uppercut is when you curl your arm like you're picking up a pail of rocks and you send your fist into your opponent's jaw from the bottom up. I lifted off my feet and landed on my butt. Ow! I felt like crying, so I did. Just as I was about to duke it back to Flea, a police car rolled by, and everyone knows that a police car is much more interesting than punching a girl. It was a good thing that police car rolled by because I come from a long line of farmer warriors in China who have been duking it out since 714 AD. And it looked like Flea had taken lessons or something and knew what she was doing. So she would have battled to the death for sure. And it is hard to say how scary that would have been. It's the end of chapter 5. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in for chapter 6 tomorrow.